Chapter 12. Save the Village. "What power is Tani going to use?" Drake asked. He glanced at the ocean. He had never seen it do this before. The water pulled farther and farther from the land. "The Ngaro Nui," Mana said. "A very, very big wave." "We call it a tidal wave on my island," Opeli added. "A wave so big it can wipe out a village or even an island." Manawa nodded. "Yes." Manawa pointed to the hill. "The village is that way. Warn my people. Tell him to get to higher ground." "Everyone, touch Worm!" Drake cried. "We can get there quickly." "I must stay here," Manawa said. "It is my sworn duty to protect Tani, and to protect others from Tani. I need to keep trying to connect with her." "I must stay as well," Opeli replied. "I am responsible for Ka." "But Manawa and Opeli," Drake began. Manawa shook his head. "Just go and save my village." "Hurry! The wave is coming! There is no time!" Opeli cried. An enormous wave was heading toward the shore. It glowed with Tani's turquoise light. The wave looked to Drake as tall as King Roland's castle. "Bo, touch Worm and Shu," Drake said, and Bo quickly obeyed. Drake put a hand on his dragon. "Now, Worm, transport us to the village." Worm transported them right away. They landed in a village filled with huts that reminded Drake of his village in Bracken. The villagers gathered around Drake, Bo, and their dragons. Pania pushed through the crowd. "See? I told you," she said. "Baby dragons." Bo stepped forward. "A Ngara Nui is coming," he said. "We must head for the top of the hills now." "Wait, where's Manawa?" Pania asked. "And your other friend, Opeli?" Drake gazed out toward the ocean. He could see the enormous wave getting closer and closer. Manawa bravely stood on the rock with his hands on his hips. Opeli stood on shore while Ka roared and stomped his feet on the sand. "Worm, we have to get them to safety," Drake said. "I know," Worm agreed. "Bo, we'll be right back," Drake said. "Help the villagers get away." Then Drake touched his dragon, and they transported back down to the shore. Chapter 13. The Big Wave. Drake and Worm landed on the shore next to Opeli and Ka. The sound of the approaching wave roared louder than any dragon. "Manawa, get down! Both of you! Touch Worm!" Drake yelled over the roar of the wave. "We have to get out of here." Suddenly, Worm's body began to glow. He moved away from the Dragon Masters and faced the tidal wave. "Worm, what are you doing?" Drake cried. The glow exploded from Worm's body in a shower of green light. The light hit the bright turquoise wall of water. The wave began to glow with Worm's light. Then the wave stopped moving. It broke up into tiny droplets. The sparkly blue-green water rained down like mist all over the island. "You saved us, Worm!" Drake yelled. The glow faded from Worm's body and the dragon collapsed on the sand. Drake ran to his side. Worm opened his eyes. "Worm, are you okay?" Drake asked. "I am fine," Worm replied. "Just weak." "Thank you, Worm," Manawa said. Then he gazed out at the ocean. Waves peacefully lapped against the shore. Tani bobbed on top of the water. "She's calm for now," he said, looking down at his black ahi stone. "But how long will this peace last?" Ka was still stomping his feet on the shore. A wisp of white smoke came from his nostril. "That wet mist cooled Ka down," Opeli said. "But he's about to get angry again." Bo ran down to the beach. Shu flew behind him. "That was amazing," Bo cried. "And seeing Worm's mist gave me an idea. Shu's blue mist can heal dark magic." "That's right," Drake said. "I think she can turn our stones back on," Bo said. "Drake, can you ask Worm to explain to Shu what we need her to do?" "I will," Drake said. He closed his eyes and repeated Bo's idea to Worm. Worm still looked weak, but the Earth Dragon nodded and closed his eyes. His body glowed green as he communicated with Shu. "Manawa, Opeli, stand next to me," Bo cried, and the two Dragon Masters ran to join him. A moment later, Shu's body began to glow a soft blue. She opened her mouth, and a pale, misty blue cloud came out. Chapter 14. Peace at last? Shu's blue cloud floated through the air. Her healing mist rained down on the 3 black stones. I hope this works, Drake thought. The black slowly faded from the stones. Within seconds, the stone returned to their original green. Thank you, Shu, Bo said, patting his dragon. A moment later, Bo's dragonstone glowed brightly. He smiled. Shu can understand me. Apelli's Ahi stone began to glow, and so did Manawa's. I can hear Ka in my head again, Apelli said, smiling. He said he missed being connected to me. I can hear Tani too, Manawa announced. She did not like being without a dragon friend either. He turned to Drake. You have helped my people. I would like to help you stop that wizard. Thank you, Drake said. Manawa frowned. But I worry that, even with our stones working again, it is too dangerous for Tani and Ka to be together. How can Apelli and I help you if we're always trying to keep our dragons calm? He asked. It's time for them to make peace, Apelli said. Ka, come. Apelli and Ka walked to the water's edge, and Manawa followed them. Tani calmly floated on the water near the shore. Apelli and Ka slowly approached the sea dragon. Then she stopped and turned to Manawa. Please tell Tani that Ka and I did not come here to challenge her, Apelli said. We came to ask for help to stop the evil wizard who made our stones go black. Manawa's Ahi stone glowed as he repeated this to Tani. Apelli looked at Ka. Will you keep the peace with Tani while we fight the wizard? Ka roared, and Apelli smiled. He said yes. Tani, Ka will not fight you. Will you promise to do the same? Manawa asked. The sea dragon nodded her shaggy head. There will be no more fighting, Manawa announced. Apelli smiled. She climbed onto Ka's tail. Her Ahi stone glowed. Ka lifted his tail over the water. Apelli reached out and touched Tani's face. Thank you, she said. This is great, Drake said. Now we should hurry and get back to Bracken. We'll need both your dragons to reverse Astrid's terrible spell. Chapter 15. What's wrong, Worm? Manawa, you're okay, Pania cried. She ran onto the beach and hugged her brother. Several villagers streamed behind her. A man and woman emerged from the crowd and approached Manawa. Mother, father, Manawa cried. So much has happened. An evil wizard took away the power of my Ahi stone. Tani created Nagara Nui, and this dragon, Worm, saved us all. He pointed to Worm, who was still curled up on the sand. Drake stepped forward. I'm Drake, Worm's Dragon Master. We need Manawa and Tani to come with us to help us defeat the wizard. Manawa's father nodded. As a dragon friend, Manawa must protect the world from evil. Manawa's mother hugged him. How long will you be gone? Just a few days, Drake replied. We can get to my land, Bracken, quickly, and then we need to find one more dragon and create the counterspell. Drake turned to Manawa. To transport to Bracken, we need all to be connected to Worm. You just need to touch Worm with one hand and Tani with the other. Can she leave the ocean? Manawa nodded. She can. His Ahi stone glowed, and Tani crawled onto the shore. Drake's eyes widened as he took in the huge size of the sea dragon. Some villagers had approached Worm and were gently petting and thanking him. Worm was sitting up, and he looked better. Can you please transport us to the Valley of Clouds? Drake asked. I'm not sure Tani will fit inside the castle. Worm nodded. Drake touched Worm. Ready? He said. Worm began to glow a very soft green. Drake closed his eyes, preparing to transport. Nothing happened. He opened his eyes. Worm's glow had faded. Worm, what's wrong? Drake asked his tired-looking dragon. I am too weak, Worm replied. I cannot transport. Chapter 16. A Feast. Oh no, Drake cried. Nothing like this has ever happened before. Is Worm all right? Bo asked. I'm not sure, Drake said. How are you feeling? Drake asked Worm. Tired, Worm replied, but I think I'm getting stronger. Just then, Drake remembered the magic mirror. Let me ask Griffith if there's anything he can do. Drake took the mirror off his belt. He looked into it. Griffith, are you there? He asked. The glass in the mirror swirled, and the wizard's face appeared.
Drake, have you found the sea dragon?
Yes, Drake said. But a lot of things have happened. Drake told Griffith everything. And now Astrid has the branch from the shadow bush, Drake finished, and Worm can't transport.
Worm must have used a lot of power to stop that tidal wave, Griffith said. He just needs to rest. And don't worry about the branch. Because you took it from Astrid while she was casting the spell, she will have to start the spell all over again. We have a few days. Rest and return when you're ready.
We will, Drake promised, and Griffith's face faded. Drake looked up to see everyone gathered around him, the other dragon masters and the villagers. Manawa put an arm around Drake. We will take care of you, he promised. Let's go to the village. Then Manawa turned to Tani. You may go back to the sea for now, my friend. I will see you later. Tani nodded and returned to the ocean. The villagers led the way back up the hill. Worm moved slowly, and Drake stayed with him the whole way. Once they got to the village, Manawa put a hand on Worm. This is Worm, the dragon who saved us, he announced. He needs food and rest. What does he eat? Pania asked Drake. He likes all kinds of fruit, Drake replied, and vegetables. Pania ran off and came back with 2 girls her age, carrying baskets of large orange berries. They placed them in front of Worm, and he gobbled them up. Nearby, smoke was coming from a pit dug into the ground. Delicious smells began to fill the air. Is that food cooking? Bo asked. Manawa nodded. It's fish with orange yams, and the white vegetables are taro roots. It smells delicious, Drake said, and Manawa nodded. When the food was ready, the villagers and dragon masters feasted. Drake ate every tasty bite. After the feast, the dragons slept on beds of grass that the villagers had made for them. Manawa's parents set up a sleeping mat for Drake, Bo, and Apelli in their home. A full belly helped Drake fall into a deep sleep. He woke to sun streaming into the hut, and to Griffith's voice.
Drake, are you there? I have news, Griffith said.
Drake grabbed a mirror. I'm here.
Rory and Anna learned where to find the wind dragon, Griffith told him. That is good news, but I have bad news too.
What bad news? Drake asked.
We got a report from wizards in Navid, Griffith replied. Astrid is using more powerful magic than they have ever seen. She has sped up the false life spell. She is about to bring the bones to life.
Drake jumped up. Everyone, Astrid is about to cast her spell, he cried. I hope Worm is ready to transport. We need to get back to Bracken and find the wind dragon right away. The end.